All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is Monday, July the 2nd, 2018. And this is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is Using ObjectTrader for Entries, Trails, and Targets. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right. Now, we've always got some new people coming in, so tonight we're going to go a little bit more basic, because I'm going to talk tonight about using ObjectTrader for entries, trails, and targets. But first, everybody needs to diagnose. Now, if you don't want this particular chart, this is called that webinar chart. It's on our website under the templates and workspace and script little deal that's under your member login. Okay. So, if you don't want it, it's no big deal, but because you can do the same thing on your charts too. Okay. But you really do need to think about drawing lines on your charts. It's pretty important. I like to always draw lines on my charts, and I like to look at, where resistance is, and, just basically draw on the charts and get ready to take a trade. Now, judging by what I'm seeing right here, right now, we don't know because we haven't put on our Lightning 1 or 2 yet, that this is actually what? A high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low. So, we're actually looking at a little bit of a downtrend, but they really haven't taken out this area right here. Okay? So, if I draw on my charts like this, this is actually like a range that you'd be trading in. Now, let's draw our Lightning 1, and we'll see what we actually have. Okay, so they haven't really taken out the top either. Okay? So they're pretty much just in this range. So if you didn't already buy down here, then obviously you'd want to wait for a trade. Now, the way I would personally like to see this trade happen would be, of course, one of two ways. And we teach this in literally every webinar that we have. It's either going to thrust up here and pull back and kiss and then take a trek on up to the upside, or it's going to do just the opposite, and that's going to be like this down here and retrace and roll over. Okay, that's really what it's going to actually do once it gets out of this range, right? Okay, now you're thinking, well, yeah, Gary, it's going to do one of those two, but which one? Well, that's why we've got these lightning swings on our charts, isn't it? Because we're going to be looking at these. To give you an example, let's say that if they broke down on this one and then came back and kissed it, would this be a good area to enter? And the answer would be yes on a rollover. But on the other hand, if it was to thrust up above this resistance and pull back and kiss and then take off, this would be a good entry. Okay? Now, on this chart right here, we're looking at, let's see, we've got quite a bit of resistance right across there. You can see that 54.10, 54.20, and 54 even. So, this is a pretty good little area. So this is going to do pretty much the same thing, okay? You're going to either break up, pull back and kiss, and take off, or it's going to do something like this, and it's going to pull in and very possibly roll over. And we won't know until we draw our Lightning 2. Let's see what Lightning 2 or Lightning 1 even. Okay, let's see here. Basically, it pulled back into here. See right in here. So technically, this is your little resistance area, like so, right? So this is trying to roll over as we speak, and if you look to the left to trade the right, keep in mind that if you look at real-time identified lightning, it's important to look at, because see right here, you have a thrust down, a retrace, it couldn't take out the low, makes a little higher, and then thrust down. So right at this very moment, that's our identified swing. Now, if you look here, you had a high, a low, lower high, lower low. So now you have this swing, and this is your secondary swing right here. Okay, so notice how they're just kind of testing this area, right? So these are like little sweet spots that you're going to be wanting to look at for a very possible rollover on this trade. Okay, now if it's going to break up, since it's actually trying to establish a swing, we could actually do more like this. And if it breaks up, right? Okay, so in other words, we'd have to have a thrust up, at least up to resistance, pull back, kiss, and then take off. So that's the two trades we're looking for right there. Does everybody see that? Now this is real important to, and you got to be able to do this fairly quickly because the market's moving while you're doing this, right? You're actually looking at your charts at all times, but keep in mind the market's moving as you're looking at those charts. They don't just stand still for you. Now sometimes they'll stand still for you for a little while, but not that much, okay? And there's times that you'll be diagnosing it while it's heading down or up. What are these charts called, Vin, on your question? Well, this is the chart that I have called Webinar. And what I've done with Webinar basically is I've taken the data and changed it to transparent. Okay, that way my prices are still on here, but they're not going to show. But this is exactly the same chart as this one is right here. This is exactly that chart right there. Okay, but see, by taking a lot of this off, and you can kind of diagnose it and see what it's going to do. Okay, because otherwise what you're going to find yourself doing a lot of times, especially with $10 a tick instruments and even $5 a tick instruments, is you'll get into the wrong place. You'll put a tight stop on it and you'll get what? Stopped out a lot of times, right? Okay, so let's just see if we can actually set something up on this particular chart to see if it'll actually pay off. Okay, and this is gold right here. So we've already diagnosed it, right? Basically we're looking here, maybe a little higher. It looks like it's, gone a little higher than over here, right? But couldn't you still box this in? And the answer is yes, right? Absolutely. Okay. So we're actually mid-band type traders. We like these type of trades. Draw your lightning on your chart. It'll be the same as this one, by the way. So wouldn't you think if it broke right here that you'd probably head down? And it's the same spot as right here. That's exactly that. Because watch, I'll draw it. See there? That's that same thing right there. Okay? So if we box this in, and we know on the left side of the chart, this is our identified swing. See it? High, low, higher, low, barely higher, high. I consider this to be my identified swing right there. Okay, everybody see that? Because otherwise, if you box it in, too much tighter than it actually breaking swings, we know that if it breaks, it's going to come down and kiss in this area here. Okay, but if it breaks up, we're also looking for very possibly a break to the upside, but it would have to take out this swing pretty decently, probably even up as high as resistance, and then come back and check it and then take off. Okay, or since we've got our lightning swing here, we're going to basically box it like this, but bias is to the which side now, everyone? Bias is actually to the downside, right? High, low, lower high, lower low. They're not really taking that swing out to the left, are they? See it if you draw it? Let me draw it for you. See that swing right there? They haven't really taken that out. Okay, so we're looking right now at a downtrend, and our background and everything is also telling you that. Background's red, right? Background's red. Now we haven't gotten the mid-band to change because it's going to have to go deeper than this for mid-band to change. That doesn't mean we can't short this or go long, but keep in mind that if you just try to go long here, this could just do like a little phantom and then roll right back over. So you want to be with the trend. Okay, and the trend until they take that out, come back and kiss it, and then take off, is still to the downside. Okay? So if you were going to trade this, let's see, what is that number, 1252.90? Is it volume? No. Then on your question, this is actually what we call an a priori swing. This is your 4-range chart, or pardon me, this is actually a 12-range chart right here because that's your navy blue. This is your 4-range chart right here at 1252.60. That's actually saying that we've had, since you've had a swing break, you've had the bars of 4-range 15 swing strength that have made that dot right there. Let's say even though power meters 1 and 2 are green, would still look short, Gary Lewis, on your question. Well, keep in mind, though, that if those go red, that would also be breaking this swing here or this swing here. So in that instance, couldn't you actually use, since you've got a green power meter, could you actually use the PM trade? We're going to talk about ObjectTrader quite a bit tonight. So, this is on replay. All right. And you could just simply set this for PM 1 or 2. We've got 2 on here right now. So you could set it for 2 or even 1 and just simply set it and let it basically close. You want to see if we get something? We'll find out. Now, since it's already green, you're not going to get another trade this way. Plus, we've already diagnosed our chart, right? Let me draw it. Even though Lightning drew this, does everybody see this? This is a thrust down, since that's a double bottom right there. This is your retrace, right? And this is your thrust down. Now, this tells you that on the left side of the chart that it would have to take that swing out to head up. Okay, no matter what it does over here, you can box in, you can get a quick short, you can box in, you'll probably get another quick short. Okay, or you may even get a breakdown, you don't know. But until it takes this out, it's not heading up. Okay, and that's what they're doing. They're just kissing resistance right there. Okay, so what you could actually do, you could actually do PM trade if you've got a green meter because you want a red one. Remember, the meter has to go from one extreme to the other. So if it's green, you can actually do a short PM when that turns red. Okay, now you can also simply do a region type trade, and that is draw your region, down to Lightning that's identified. Okay, now this is actually more of a conservative trade. This is a little bit more aggressive trade if you do it like this, but keep in mind, this is not an established swing. See your high, your low, your same high, that negates that swing, but this swing is your identified swing, high, low, higher, high. So that's your identified swing right there. Now, sometimes that'll get you in a little bit later, but it'll also keep you out of some pretty choppy garbage too. Let's see, are there PM3 and PM4 object types? Well, there's really not, Vin, on your question, except you could actually make it that way if you wanted to. Power meter 2 is simply Lightning 2. And if I go in here to Lightning 2, where's my Lightning 2? Right here. I can actually change that if I want to be a 4 with a 15 swing strength, and then it would take over power meter 3. We've only got 2 Lightning trades, but you can make them be what you want them to be. I wouldn't advise actually doing a breakout trade because a trend type break would be more of a breakout trade. Okay, let's see, how does the PM1 and PM2 differ, and when would you use 1 or 2? That's a really good question, Lewis. Okay, Lightning 1 and 2, let me go ahead and get my little lightning indicator over here real quick. Okay, Lightning 1 is just simply like a little 4-range bar up, a 4-range bar down, couple up, 1 down, couple up, 3 up. You see what I mean? This is actually like, basically your Lightning 1 is just simply looking at anything that's 4-range down and 4-range up, or 4-range down again and 4-range up. It's just looking for swings. This one, on the other hand, is looking for at least 2 up and 2 down. Okay, so with Lightning 2, to give an example, if you look at this over here, you can clearly see that. Let me get rid of this Lightning right here just for a second first. Let me get rid of it. Okay, see, you basically have you have a thrust up. That's more than 2 bars, right? That's 3, that's even 4. So that's going to draw lightning 2. Okay, now it wouldn't draw it here because that's an up, a down, and an up. So that's not going to draw there. Okay, but this is an up and this is a down, but you have 2 ups in a row. So it would draw. Let me show you how it draws on lightning 2. See where it draws right here? You basically have to have at least 2 bars up, okay? And then another 2 bars up. That's an up bar and that's an up bar, so that's going to draw there. Okay, so this is my lightning swing right here on lightning 2, okay? And I can also draw lightning 1 to give an example. Let's draw lightning 1. Okay, now lightning 1, if you get several bars up, it'll draw about like lightning 2 to begin with. This is your identified swing on lightning 1, and this is technically not identified on 2. Why is that, team? Because you have a high here, a low, and barely higher high, but only like 2 ticks. But if you're aggressive, you can still box it in like that. Instead, let me see if I can get that box. There we go. Like that. But keep in mind, when you do it that tight, there's a lot of times they're just going to close outside it, touch this swing, and then hammer you in the face, so to speak. Let's see, my object trader doesn't fire. It's just the regular rectangle for region. No, actually, on your question, the region, let me just show you how to set this up, because this whole webinar is about using Object Trader. I'm going to take all my lines off and even my lightning so you can see it. Let's take lightning. And everybody knows how to do lightning 1 and 2, right? Alt key for lightning 1, shift key for lightning 2, okay? And your control key for lightning 3. Whoop, sorry, got the wrong one. And you've got to have a swing, so we got to go back a little ways on this one and probably draw it from here. We'll draw our lightning 3, probably even from here. There you go. That's lightning 3, okay? So to really break down now, if you were looking at lightning 3, then yes, this is actually your support right here. And if it broke that, it would more than likely head down. But this is actually what the trade that we teach in the webinars all the time is this trade right here. Okay? So you could look to the left. You've got a thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. So you could draw a line underneath there. That's the left side support, right? Your right side support is right here. Like so. See it? High, low, little higher high, just barely closed above that. So this is your little sweet spot to get short right in through here if this breaks down. And remember, we're not going long until it takes this out, comes back and kisses, and then takes off. Okay, you don't want to just take a little breakout here unless you are totally prepared to get out of it if it even comes back on top. To give you an example, if I was to box this in at the mid-band, if it popped up above that line, I would not let it go back below that line. Because if it's going to take off, it should keep going. You don't want any of these things where they give you 4 ticks and then all of a sudden they're 8 ticks in your face. Because that's nothing but a phantom trade then, right? We're going to talk about phantom trades tonight too. But Ashley, on your question, you don't just draw a normal box like this, okay? You use the region, click it on region, and you have to turn one of these on or both of them or whatever you want to do. But to get the region, you just simply click inside your chart and hit insert, and there's your region. Now the region draws over 2 candles. Okay, see how it just drew over those 2 candles? Now those could be 2 candles that are on top of each other too, and it could be a bigger region also. Okay, but see, here's your swing, so you just simply drag your little region, and you think, you know what, this is right here also. Could you actually do your region more like that? The answer is yes. That would prove that it's actually breaking down more than if it just broke this one, because that's not what I consider to be an identified swing. If this would have come up higher, this would be an identified swing. Remember, with this right here, you've got a high, you've got a low. When is that low established, Viper traders? When that swing is taken out right there with a good close or 2 bars. Okay, at least a good close, and I like to have a second bar even. That way you identify the swing. When's this swing identified? When it takes out this swing to the left. And it did. So that's an identified swing. When is this swing identified? When it takes out this swing to the left. Okay? And on your smaller charts, you were identified, double top, took out your trade. You wait for it to start stair-stepping back up, you get in the trade right there. Everybody see that? Same thing we're doing right here with this chart. Okay? So which do y'all want to do? You want to do the conservative way or the aggressive way? Which do most of you do? Just curious. Conservative. I think that's pretty smart. And keep in mind, if you do like 3 contracts on oil or gold, you know, you get 10 ticks behind on a trade, you're down $300. So if you want to just do, for instance, like 2, do the conservative trade, short, you know, rather than wait for the close of the box, you can always say, you know what, just touch the box plus like 2 because you're doing it more conservative, because if it breaks this, it should break down. Okay? And keep in mind that if you close right near the bottom of the box, it has to wait a full another bar, and then you might be here, and then you've only got to here to go to begin with. So that wouldn't be a very good risk-reward trade. Okay, but if you touch it, then you should get to here or even here. Everybody see that? So draw on your charts to know where it's going. Okay, if this breaks this, this should test this swing and possibly this swing. And then if it breaks that, look to the left to trade the right. It could check that swing, that swing. See that? So you draw on your chart. Draw your a priori swings, for instance. Those are some little sweet spots that we could actually hit if this breaks down hard. Okay? Greg says, probably need to go conservative. That's good. I'll do the conservative. But I will get out fairly quickly, okay, if this actually does break and then goes back against us, because I don't like to give up money. All right? You could do 2 charts, absolutely, Mario, on your question. So let's see which one pans out. Now, since we're doing only 2 contracts, you need to pick your targets, okay? I see 53.90, 53.70, 53.60 as a fill. You're only shooting for 52.60, so let's go for 10 ticks on the first one. And then we'll let the other one just be a runner, and we're going to put it at 40, but keep in mind we're going to move that target pretty quick. Okay, so let's see what happens. We've got our region set. Now, does everybody in the room know that the top of this box is the T button, the bottom of the box is the B button? Okay, I could even short this inside this box if I wanted to, which there's really not a reason for it most times. Obviously, you want to kind of short the tops within like X ticks, but not really the bottoms. But we've made it where you can do it short inside if you want, short outside. You can do long inside at the bottom. You can do long outside below the thing. Okay, but normally what you're really looking at most times is simply long outside the box, short outside the box. Okay, and I'll show you on the ebook exactly what you're going to be looking for to take that kind of a trade. I understand, Lewis, it does come in a little bit complicated, but it's really not that much. Let me just show everybody just real quick. Let's go to member login real quick, and I'll show everybody the ebook. Because everything I'm explaining here is quite easy to do, but you do need to know how to do it. Okay. All right. I'm on the member site. Everybody knows you got a member login if you're with Viper as a member. Scroll down. And remember, if you ever need scripts at all, if I send out an email that says our scripts are expiring, they're right in this little zip file. Okay. Charles didn't even know that, by the way, on Saturday. I evidently, either I'm not explaining it right or somebody's not listening right. But anyway, these have been in here for quite some time now. You just simply click it, put the file on your desktop or whatever, then you open it and drag your files out. Okay, here's our little ebook right here. Okay, the very top under webinars is our ebook. You just simply click it. It comes up with ObjectTrader video book. Okay, you need to know how to set your parameters on ObjectTrader. Okay, Won't go through that as much tonight because we've already got them set. You need to know how to use the LE, SC, and RE. There's a little video on that. Full auto, you got to be careful if you ever check that button, because that button will put it in full auto mode. All right. And then this is even where you have the use of a required trend, which means that you only go short with mid-bands that are short and long with mid-bands that are long. But the trade that I'm talking about right now is just simply here. Activate a region, use your T and B buttons and what they mean. I use touch instead of close. Okay. I sized the region while it was live. And I haven't added on at all yet, but I can also add on, scale out, and even auto trade it. So these are just little videos on that. You just simply highlight them, a little link comes up, and you just simply click it. Okay? And there's videos on every part about trading UsingObjectTrader. Okay? But the simplest thing you can do is draw a region like this with the UsingObjectTrader and just simply use like most people do, and that's long outside, short outside. Okay, we're not going long outside though because we got a red background. And we also don't want to do that until it busts up, pulls back, kisses, and then takes off. We do, however, want to take this one if it breaks our swing to the left. Okay, so let's see if it does. And we'll go either way. If it goes the other way, we'll do it. I'll put it on about 10 times to see if we can get something. We got touch +2, which means it has to touch outside that box by 2 ticks, plus 1 tick for a confirmation. Okay, so let's see if we get it. I got this going about 10 times, so I won't speed it up any more than that. It looks like it will be to the short side if it breaks this. Now, if it bounces here, we could actually pop through this top, kiss it, and take off too. But you know, we're going to wait and see which side does what. Does everybody see now why we basically box in though? Because can you tell on that chart which way this thing's going to go? And the answer is probably no, because it's sideways, right? I mean, that mid-band is yellow as it can be. See, we didn't get faked into a trade here. See there, if we'd have done touch +2, we'd be in a trade. But we made the conservative way. Okay, let's see if we get a trade. We're not going to care about large P&Ls or anything like that. By the way, UsingObjectTrader will also tell you when you're flat on a trade. It'll tell you when you're losing money on a trade. This will be red. And it'll tell you if you're green on a trade, and it'll be green. So what I always do when I'm trading is I look to see, you know, is this actually, you know, flat? Is it red or is it green? Okay, now notice we're not going long just yet. Speed this up a little bit. This was just right after 5 o'clock. See which way it decides to go. And see how it's breaking out of the top a little bit? Is that a long, anybody? Is that a long trade? No. No, that could very well be a fake trade, see, because all they did is come out of that box a little bit. Now, there you go. You just got your trade. Okay. Now, usually when they do this type of thing and I see them take this out, I box it tighter. But anyway, we went with the conservative way just so we could just see if the conservative way is the right way to do it. There you go. You just got one target. Okay. Now, when you get in a trade, keep in mind that you can also add to the trade if you want to. Okay. You can, of course, move your stop. You want to keep your stop a little loose simply because you've got to basically trust the lightning swings. Okay. Because if you don't trust the lightning swings, they're going to barely take you out and then they're going to head down. Okay. But you also don't want to go all the way to mid-band because you got in down here. Okay, so your stop can't be way up here or this would disappear in a heartbeat. Okay, so you need to look to the left to trade the right. They broke free from here, right, where we had our little box. So I'd feel pretty comfortable putting my stop, say, even right in here or even a little bit lower, like right in here. Okay, because that way, if it does decide to bounce off this low right here, then I'll probably be giving up most of this anyway. Okay. Now, I could also, though, if I wanted to, rebox this, right, and see if you can get another trade. And matter of fact, I'll show you the trade I would be looking for. See how it took out support right here? I'd like to see it break, pull back and kiss, and then I would add one if it rolled over. So we'll see if we get something like that. Right now, we'll stay with our one contract. Let's see what it does. Everybody see how to use ObjectTrader a little bit? You know, you don't have to make this little tool, you know, super hard to understand, because a region is just simply a box. It's just simply a box that you tell it, do I want to go long at the top or short at the bottom? You know, if you're in a big range, could you actually have, you know, done a big range long in here and shorted the top and buy the bottom? Yep, you can do that too. Okay, we're just talking about a little bit more of a lightning breakout trade right now. But yeah, if you've got a big, you know, support area and you want to draw a big region and actually take that trade long right there for 10 ticks, you could probably get it. Let's see, does this setup trigger either long or short? Well, Vin, on your question, it would only trigger long if you turn the long on, which we didn't do, because remember, we weren't looking for a little breakout. We were looking for a thrust up, pullback, kiss, and then take off. Now, if you want to go really conservative, let me show you another trade. I'm going to just kill this because I've seen this 1,000 times, so I'll bet it does it. There's support. All right, let's see if it breaks it and comes back and kisses it. And I'll see if I can get a trade. Not breaking it yet. Not breaking it yet. That's a lower high. Breaking it. Breaking it. Breaking it a little bit. If it comes back and kisses this area right here, could you actually get ready? See how that kissed that and rolled? Could you be ready to take that trade? See where it kissed resistance and rolled? You could do that. Yeah, I could have done it with the region even right here. But keep in mind that each time these break, now that might not have been enough of a break. We may, you know, get whacked on this trade here in just a second. I wanted a little bit lower, but let's just stick with it, because it did kiss my resistance and came back down through it. So I took it. So I'll live with it. One of the easiest tools in the world to use is this little tool, in my opinion. And by the way, I was talking to our program this afternoon, and we're looking at approximately 2 months, and we're going to have a simplified Ninja 8 object trader and the scripts. Now, we're not going to probably port everything over to Ninja 8 right off the bat, simply because, you know, there's so much testing involved and things like that. But what I think he's going to do first off is going to build Ninja 8 a region type trade, and more than likely this wedge trade and time trade. And we'll probably leave these off for right now, maybe bar close even, but pretty simplistic, okay? Because, well, we're going to have to test it. You know, we're going to have to, and it has to be built from scratch. We can't even use the code that's in ObjectTrader now because they've changed the graphic user interface completely. Let's see, how about the auto trade? Bill, on your question, we're going to be working on that on Ninja 8, I believe, instead. Because the programmer's pretty much saying that, you know, if we just keep upgrading Ninja 7, we're never going to get Ninja 8 built. Because it takes time. He's working on these things that I told him to do on adding to the Ninja 7. And we'll probably still get those because he is working on them. But I think he said pretty much stop after that. And then we're going to be going to 8. Okay, wow, this is slow. Let's see. Now, let me ask you a quick question. If you were trading this, oh, okay, I just ran out of data. Let me go ahead and give it more data. Bear with me just a second. I only had July the 1st instead of the 2nd, so we'll go with the 2nd also. Bear with it just a second. We'll probably have to do this trade again, unfortunately. Or we'll just wait for the next one. Let's do that instead. You want to? That's what I would probably do. But does everybody see how I diagnosed that, in real time, so we could actually see where the trade's going? And how you could absolutely tell how to set the box up and things like that. Don't fall for these little breaks above, for instance, and they break and they do like 4 ticks, and then they're right back in your face. And what do? They go sideways, and then they finally break down. That's where they separate basically the pros from the people that get whacked all the time. Let's see, we got in late tonight. Would you define support and resistance? Absolutely, Greg. Basically, what you're talking about, always look to the left to trade the right. Left side of the chart is super important. Right side is super important. Just remember, this is the right side. This is the left side. You don't go way back. Okay, not at least for these two. Now, for the longer term, you do, further back, because you're looking at a priori swings. Those are those numbered swings. Okay, but if you look at this right here, for instance, this basically has the swing is identified right there, right? That's an identified swing right there. High, low, higher, lower high, right? Because it took out this swing, and that identified that swing on a Power Meter 2 chart. Okay, now on the right side of the chart, you have a low, you have a high, have a higher low, and you don't really have a higher high because they didn't close above. See how that's wicked? That technically didn't close above that. Okay, now if this was to break down, you have to look to the left and the right. So I look at this little swing as more of a conservative area to take the trade. Okay, that's a little bit more of a conservative on the left side. And then on the right side, you've got to wait for a few bars and see what it's going to actually do. Let's just see what it's going to do. Bear with it just a second. We'll fast forward it a little bit. I've got it going like 30 times. Hopefully it'll move. Oh, duh. I've got it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Let me get to 5 o'clock. I had to restart that to July the 2nd. Bear with it just a second. There we go. All right. Now this is your 5 o'clock open right here. Now notice now you have on the left, you still have your high, your low, your lower high, and your lower low. That establishes the left side. Now you have a low, a high, higher low, not really a higher high because it didn't close. So now you have a low, a high, a higher low, and barely a little higher high. Everybody see that? So that establishes this swing right here on the right side of the chart for your real low, okay? And then you've got another low right here. See your low, your high, okay? So you could put like that, okay? That's looking to the left to trade the right. You also look at support. See this little swing right here? You can even do it like that. But keep in mind, if you start getting too conservative, you're going to have to take the breakout trade. Because, for instance, if we broke this and only went down to here, that's not even a 10-tick trade. So you've got to kind of, look at your swings as they're happening in real time. And you can even use this little tool. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Watch that power meter go green. We saw it. I mean, this is a little bit hindsight, but we saw it when we started this. And I'm just now starting it. Watch this go green. You can also use this little feature because it will actually take a trade also called PMC. See how that went green right there? Okay. Now that tells you that the Lightning 1 is actually, heading up a little bit, but on the left side of your chart, you'd still have to break this area right here. See it? That's resistance. And like I was mentioning to everybody when we started this webinar, I want this trade to at least go up to like Phantom, say, or even up to this swing to the left. And then I want it to pull back. And then I want it to take off. All right. But on this side of the chart, I've already got resistance held. So could I actually take a little break trade if I could get 10 ticks? And the answer is yes. Okay. So I can use my little region. And I just simply go set my region. Bear with me a second. I may have to Hopefully I don't have to restart ObjectTrader. Let's see if we can fast forward this a little bit more. I may have to restart ObjectTrader. It won't take a second if I do. Yep, gonna have to. All right, let me go ahead and do that. All right, now we'll do our region. Okay, so our region, we can look to the left and see there's a swing here. So we simply bring our little ObjectTrader region right there to that swing. We don't want to really take a breakout trade. But if you do, keep in mind that you want it to break out and stay broke out. Okay? Because you don't want these little fakes out of a box and then pull right back against you, because those will kill your account. Okay? And we've got a red background. So we're technically expecting what? We had a high over here, a low, and a higher high. We're breaking this. We broke it down here. So we're actually looking for shorts, aren't we? Our background even tells us that. And we box these in all the time. Okay, so we're going to box it in. And we'll do 10 ticks like I showed earlier. And we'll do this one as a runner. And let's just see what it gets. And then we're going to actually do a touch plus 2. The reason for that is because if you have to close outside this box, you might close all the way down in here and then you don't have any place to go. Okay? So let's go over that again. I know this is actually going a little slower tonight, but I want to show how to use this little tool, because this is the tool that we use each and every day in that room to take these trades. Okay? Now, if you're an aggressive trader, you could short this right now. See it breaking that lightning swing right here? Actually, you could redo your box. If you're aggressive, see it right there? Okay? You can do this in real time too. But if you're more conservative, see, you could even do it like this now if it breaks below mid-band. That's aggressive, okay? And that'll probably fire. But if you're conservative, you're down here, okay? So let's just do the conservative and see. Let's see, sometimes I get confused with background, like here to the right is gray, but you said it's red. How can I be sure of background? Well, this is actually red background, Lewis, on this. This is the true red background right here. This is your rose-colored background. This is sideways right here. This is actually a down background. This is a down background. Okay? And on your long ones, they're actually yellowish and green. Okay, so you just fired your trade. Notice how that turns everything off so that, you can make sure that you don't accidentally, fire another trade. Now, could I actually add to this if I wanted to? And the answer is yes, by just turning that back on. See, I've got 3 now. See how easy that is? That's how you can actually scale in, by simply turning that back on. Okay. Now notice that this way I've got, instead of 130 like I had earlier, we had $300. Now could this be a time that you want to just cut this out, because we already gave it back? Now we're back to 300 again. See there? Okay. Now, if you want to trade this and make sure that you make the most money on your trades, trust your lightning, okay? Now, I like to look at this like thrust down, retrace, thrust. This is actually a little resistance area right here. So I'd probably go ahead and bring my stop just above cost and put exit on close on it. And I'd still be giving up some money because I still got 2 contracts left. So if this goes up, what I could actually do is simply take 1 off if that bar closes up. Okay, because I can do a bar close, and that'll simply take out 1 more contract because we're quantity. There we are, it just closed. Everybody see how that works? That way I don't have to give a bunch of this back if I don't want to. Okay, but I could get ready to add again, because to the left you can clearly see you got support right here, right? And the way we teach this is going to do like this, more than likely, and this is going to do like this, and come back and kiss, right? And then probably roll over. So you could be ready for another trade here also. Bar close can take it away, Lewis, on your question. You can actually use bar close to even get in a trade. I'll show you. I'll just add one if a bar closes down. Now it should hit here instead. That's where I'm looking for. We'll see. But if it closes down, it'll actually add one. If it closes up, it won't do anything. Got to close down for a short. Now that's just basically aggressive adding on to your trade right there. Now we don't teach that particular one. We actually teach that you want to break stealth, come back up through stealth, and then roll over it. That's when you'd want to add that. But I'll go ahead and add one here if it doesn't take out that resistance. Let's see if it does it. A close down will put us in one more. It's coming right to where I think it will. There's a little swing. Always got to check your swings, don't they? And that'll add one if that bar closes down. Watch, change to 2 if it does. There you go. Okay. Now what if I wanted to add one more with like region? If I get this little deal right here, I could simply draw a region, be ready for it. Okay, we'll draw a region. We'll bring it down under here because we want it to hit resistance, and we're not going to turn it on just yet. I'm going to just draw this out of the way, and then we're going to try to get a trade. As soon as it comes down below it enough, then I'm going to draw my region, and we'll simply short the top, like touch plus 2, but it's got to come down first because it's got to come back and kiss. You'll see that continually in your trading, by the way. And that's if we're going to not break back to the upside. There you've got a little thrust down, not much, not enough yet. You don't want to do this until it actually does a little thrust down, comes back and kisses, and then rolls, okay? Because that type of trade can make you a lot of money, okay? We're not ready for it just yet, though. See how it's still popping up? We need it to break down. See why you don't want to do that until it breaks? That's second time, third time down there. Let's see if it breaks. Now that's a break, okay? Now if I wanted to if I wanted to add one, let's say that I just had one. Let's just go ahead and add one if it comes back up to the top of this little deal within 2 ticks. It'll actually add one. If it goes back inside, there it is, 3. See how easy that is to do? Now, would I protect this trade? Yeah, probably so. And keep in mind that if it takes out this low here, that your stop's going to be right here. But not yet. Okay, now with 3, I'd probably have my finger on the buy button just in case it popped up above here with a close bar. Everybody see why? Because then you would have a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high, and it would take that out. So I'd probably take some off the table. Okay. Now, if you missed a trade like this entirely, okay, you got to look for one other type of trade, and that is a good thrust type trade, and then you're going to want to try to get in. Let me see if we can find one. I'll just kill this trade for right now. Another trade that we like to look for, see how stealth was broken right up here? It hadn't been broken since. Everybody see that? So let's see if we can get a trade like that, and we'll simply watch for stealth to be broken. You got to keep in mind that your trade, you got to always know where your trade's going to be, okay? Because, for instance, we broke down below here, see support, okay? So let's draw a line. All right, I also like to draw a line at mid-band, like so, and I watch for predictors. Okay, so my little sweet spot right now is right here for a trade. And I want to at least break stealth. See stealth right here? I want it to be vacated and leave me a little gap. And I'd like a predictor, and I don't really want to take this out. See what I mean? So here's a low, a high, and a lower low. So this shouldn't be taken out if we're going to head down. Everybody see that to the left? So let's see if we can get something. And watch for a predictor in real time because they're pretty cool. Okay, broke down again, so you really don't want to take this out. Everybody see that? Low, high, so-and-so, right? Don't want to take that out. So now your sweet spot is right here instead. This is exactly how we teach this stuff. Okay? Does it mean we couldn't have taken a little breakout trade? Sure you could. But we're retracement traders too, and we've already gotten a trade. I'm looking for one that I'm not going to chase a trade. Let's see if we can get one. Stealth is still intact. See it right there? Stealth is still intact. See if we can get one. Maybe not. There's stealth. Watch for a predictor. It knows where to draw those predictors. More than likely, it's going to draw it right there. Just like that, or right here. It's better at predicting where it's at than I can, but I can draw on charts pretty darn good. Let's see if we can get a trade. A little resistance right here. You can't take this out if we're going to head down. Now they can do like an 8. See, they broke. Power meter's green. Predictor's right there. We don't want to take this out right here. Everybody see that when I did that? Predictor. Okay, now that's an aggressive trade, by the way. The best way to do is wait for that bar to close down, at least. Okay, or even a little 1, 2, 3. Even sometimes you may even want to do a 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let me show you the conservative way, because we're going to trade it conservatively also. Conservative is exactly the way we teach it, and that is, see how it's barely taking out this swing right here, everyone? So where's the trade on this conservative? Okay, look to the left to trade the right. All right, you have resistance here. They took it out just barely with a wick. See it right there? You got a little down candle, up candle, box it. This is what we call a mid-band trade. Are we going long, anybody? Nope. Nope. Why are we not going long? Anybody? Well, what would it have to do? It would have to do this. It would have to take out this swing here, right? It would have to then come back and kiss. And then it would have to take off again. All right? Now, it might even go higher like this, and you could chase a trade like that. If you're going to take that trade, what you really want to do is take it when it takes out mid-band to the upside. Exactly. That's exactly right, Greg. Only take the mid-band trade, especially if you've got a big old red mid-band like this, you know, and you've got your swing over here to the left, and you're saying, you know what, this is not looking long to me yet. Okay, so let's see if we can get a little trade. We'll do a short outside, touch plus 2, and let's see if we can get it. That's your little swing, still inside the box. If it wicks it, by the way, all you have to do is stretch your box. That way you don't accidentally get into a trade that just barely gets you in. Because see, this body's trying to go back up. See there? Now my wick should get me in. See if it does. Still bouncing so far. There we go. Just got you another trade. See how to diagnose that and everything? When we say to box in at mid-band, that's exactly what we're talking about. Now, notice that basically if you were doing conservative, okay, your box would have been clear down here. Okay, let me show you that one. We'll just go ahead and I'll draw the box as quick as I can. Hopefully I can get there. Like that, okay? That would be conservative, taking the left out. Okay, that would be a conservative trade. But see, this did a little box like we teach. And I love it when they do them where they're like several in a row rather than making a big box. This is a perfect box that we teach. Now what you can do, you could have stayed in the trade here and then even added here if you wanted to. Okay? Because otherwise you're taking more of a breakout trade, see, because it's breaking left over here. And are we going to get it? Let's see. We may have missed that one. If it doesn't, I'll get it. Because we did it in the middle of a bar. If it touches inside that box, it still should. Let's see if it does. If not, I'll grab it. Yeah, I got it. Okay. That's more conservative by looking to the left to trade the right. But keep in mind, only do that if you can count at least 10 ticks or at least your scalp to the next swing level. Okay? Now, if you're more of a scalp trader, like 5 or 6 ticks, then you can take a conservative break pretty much most times. But keep in mind, they're going to usually go back against you first. See how that's going back against me a little bit? Let's see, it looks like it might be a good thing to highlight left to trade to right as a reminder to look left. Yeah, absolutely. Looking left to trade the right is a good way to trade. Okay, and now let me show everybody just real quick, if you want to stay in a trade. Okay, let's say that you're up like this much. So I don't really care if I get a runner right now, a scalper. I'm just going to go for the pure run. Okay, the way to do that is use lightning. You know, for instance, I could actually use my lightning swing as my stop. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just turn the region off, and let's use our lightning 2 as our stop. And our lightning 2 is right there right now. Let's use lightning 1. Change it to lightning 1. Now lightning 1's still up that way. So let's see. It'll change though. Watch it drop. If this keeps going down, that is. And then you can write a trade for all it's got. See, our power meter's red still. Whoop, turn that off, didn't I? Let's go ahead and re-engage it. Still hadn't changed just yet. Just kissed resistance. Now see, I've still kept within $100 of my money. Now your lightning should go ahead and drop if this keeps going. Wow, that almost got me. See how they just came right up to my line? There you go. See it dropping? See it's dropping with lightning 1. Now you could change that quickly because that could take you real easily. See, that's actually going to get us. I'm going to go ahead and move it to right back here. They got us. All right, let's do it one more time. If it rolls over, it rolled. I'm going to put my stop just above mid-band. And let's put that lightning back on again. I'm going to put lightning 2. Well, that's not the time. See, that actually took out resistance. So what are you doing now, everyone? What is the trade doing right now? Let's see if we can get actually the opposite direction. But keep in mind, where would gold, that's a good short, by the way, right there. That's close to a phantom. You should actually be in that trade short. But I probably wouldn't go ahead and trade it short just yet, simply because you already missed it. But you could if it does a little consolidation. Let's see if we can get something. Dang, I missed that one. Gave up $200 of our money too. Oh, that's why. It was close to the opening of the market. Wasn't paying attention to that, was I? That's our little box that we talk about all the time. Okay? Now, would you take this long if it broke out of here? Well, you got to be careful doing that against a short background, okay? And if you do that, I would highly recommend just scalping it only. But I would be looking for a little consolidation patch to box it in. Let's see if we can get one. Yeah, see, it actually got one. I ran it too fast, though. We actually called this trade, by the way. I want to show you where this trade's going. Can anybody tell where this trade's going right now? Because remember where I had my line in the room this morning? Why did I have my line there? Mid-band, and then look to the left to trade the right. See these a priori swings? Put it like that. Put your little box. Just a little sweet spot, right? And then watch and see if that doesn't kiss that area and then roll over. And we're almost through with the webinar, but watch it. See there? Kissed it. Rolling over. There you go. Everybody see that? Pretty super way to trade. We had that trade drawn in the room this morning exactly like that, by the way. Now, I know this is after the fact right here, but if you actually were in the room this morning, you saw that we simply drew these lines We had mid-band picked. We had the a priori swing picked. We drew our little area, and we took that little trade. Charles took that little trade. I didn't personally take that. Remember, I was trading oil. And I think it was YM this morning. Yeah, at that time it was. Okay. But do you see another trade setting up on gold right now, though? Anybody? Anybody see another trade setting up on gold? How about a predictor? See if we can get a predictor trade. Only if you get predictor gold. May not get it. Nope, didn't. And time again, you'll see, oh, and by the way, notice how that also did. That was that trade I was going to show you too. I just had this going too fast. I got it going 200 times. That's too quick. But see this trade right here? Breaks line 2. You box it in and it rolled over. Now notice that stealth is intact so far down in here. There's a little break of stealth right there. What do you think? Got to make a decision pretty quick. It broke stealth and it went right back down through it. Everybody see that? All right, let's draw on our chart real quick and we'll see if we can pick the next trade, even at 200 times. I'll see if I can do it. Resistance, there's a predictor right there. I think my sweet spot's right in this area right here. See if I can get it. It's got to at least go to resistance. Everybody see why I picked that right there? Now, I didn't wait for the rollover because I'm just simply shorting resistance. But if I did want to wait for the rollover, I could actually even go ahead and add if it took out mid-band. Didn't quite take out mid-band, but I'm aggressive. There we go. Does everybody see how to draw on your charts and how to use this little tool now? Because it is quite a little powerful tool that you can use. Now, I'd probably put my stop now just in case, because we've got like 4 contracts on, so you're going to give your money back quick. Or you'll make money quick also. And I'd probably take off everything except for, oh, that's good. Just kissed resistance. Is it going to take us out? It might. Took us out. Okay, is there another trade involved in this right here? Well, look to the left to trade the right, and we'll do a quick tutorial on one more. I'll draw my lines. I'll draw my left. Okay, everybody see that? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to also draw a line across here. That's my a priori. So I'm going to have a sweet spot either here at mid-band or as high as this area up in here like a phantom. They haven't had a phantom yet, notice that? So let's see which one of those we get, and then we'll wrap. This off. Oh, this is actually. Oh, this is after hours. We can't even trade this one. That was 3:20 in the afternoon. We're done. Anybody know where it went? Let's just see real quick if I actually have it. It rolled over on that one, and I think that's all I've got. That's all the data I've got. Does anybody know, did it come up in this area at all here, or did it just break down here? Anybody? Because I didn't record this any further than 3:45, which was after the market. Oh, it did come up there? Was I right on my sweet spots then? Anybody? Because you got resistance here, you got support here. So if they were to break this little support area right here, that would be conservative, they'd head down. If they would kiss this area right here, I would probably even do a little trade like kiss, even go up a little bit and roll over. And you could probably get a trade, but it is after hours. Okay? And keep in mind also that when you're trading and they've done this much movement like this, like all day, you know, because remember we got this trade in the room this morning, called out, called this one, called this one. You even had a chance here. Okay? There were several opportunities to get in gold, and gold doesn't move so fast that you can't actually make some really good money on it. Okay? All right. this webinar was recorded. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Now, all I did really basically tonight was go over region, because I want everybody to understand when we talk about boxing in, like at mid-band or even at phantom areas, okay, you're looking to the left, and if it's a huge area like this, you don't have to wait for that conservative one, okay, but always look to the left, just like over here when we started earlier, way back in here, remember? We were talking about it breaking up or breaking down, and it broke down, okay? But notice how this was a lot closer on your Lightning 2. Look at the difference over here on your Lightning 2. See it? You got to be careful with big boxes. When I see big boxes like this, I want it to break it just a little bit and then short it. Because where is your identified swing on the left? Anybody? Right there. That's your medium identified swing. So for this to head up, see your high, low, low, high, lower, right? Low, high, lower, low. And they never took this out. This would be what it would take to take it back up right now anyway. But if this did a low, a high, and a higher low, but it didn't, see, it pretty much double bottomed. So now you got to look at a low, a high, higher low, and then break up. But we're not going to be looking for a long trade until they at least take this out, this a priori swing, come back and kiss. And until it does that, we're still looking for shorts. Doesn't mean we can't scalp it, but for a conservative trader, that's what you're looking for, or this is what you're looking for. Probably a resistance kiss and rollover. That's what I'd be looking for, is breaking that little box. Okay, and then see if you're going to take out those lows. Okay, but right now you still got a red background, red mid-band, and phantom is heading down. Okay, hope everybody enjoyed it. We'll do this in the morning with some real calls. Thanks everyone for coming. CL chart set up, Kenneth, on your question. I actually had a gold and a RTY. I'll go over the CL in the morning though if you want to. PM3 and PM4, Vin, on your question, is Lightning 3 and 4. Let me show you what they look like, and then we'll wrap. Let me get rid of Lightning 1 and Lightning 2. All right. Your Lightning 3, if I draw it, I use my control key. And you'll notice that my Lightning, so you got a high, a low, not established yet. There's your established high when it takes out these lows right here, right? Now this is an established high when it takes out this low, this established high when it takes out this low, and so far that's what you got. Okay, that's Lightning 3. Now Lightning 4 is larger than that. That's a 12 range chart, and you're not really looking at that as much, and to draw it you have to be on a navy colored or a white colored, okay? So the way you do that is you use your backspace key and draw it like this. And that's your Lightning 4. Okay, that's your big swings right there. That one I don't pay as much attention to. We just basically made it a power meter with 4 on it, because truthfully you can change this to a different, I mean, you could put power meter 4 instead of being a 12 range chart. You could put it as a 6 range chart if you wanted to. Change it to what you like. Play around with it and see what swings really draw best on your size bar. Like if you use Rankos to give an example, you might find a power meter 4 that works super well for you to really look at the real swings. Okay. All right. Thanks everyone. We'll see you in the morning. Have a good one. Good night.